wanted to do an overview of my sawmill setup. It's a bandsaw mill, and it was done as close to cheap as possible. I started out with a Harbor Freight bandsaw mill. I ordered some Cook blades for it, which were about $50 a piece. I find that they work pretty well, and I can sharpen the blades using a Dremel and a pinch, or my chainsaw sharpener. The original rails with 20-foot extensions, welded together and ground smooth at the weld point. This allows me to cut about 21 or 2-foot boards. I poured a slab in multiple sections, about 25 or 26 feet, and I built an awning to protect the mill from the weather because I went through multiple tarps and snakes were living in there and other problems. What I do is I use a tractor to pull the wood over after cutting it down, and then I use a straight edge to push the log onto the mill. I typically use a tow line for pulling the logs, but I also use chain. I have a lot of oak on the property. Some of it's been sitting out for a couple of years now. I find with oak that the first couple inches will start to rot, but it takes a while for it to rot down to the core, so the wood is still pretty usable. In this case, I was reusing an old blade to do the cutting, which is why it's wavy, but I know there's metal in some of these trees, so I didn't want to bother replacing the blade. So what I'll do is season it and then do a final cut to square everything. I use a PV tool for rolling the log as I do the cuts. General squaring procedure where you do a top cut, flip it so it's on the bottom, and then do another top cut, and then flip it so it's on the side, and then cut again, and flip it again, 180, and then do a final cut, and that will give you a square. The process works pretty well, and I've built several buildings and such out of wood that I cut down on the property. I have a lot of old outbuildings here from about 1948, so I used the wood from the property to maintain those. I have basically just been air kilning, which takes a few months. But I find that you can also build green as long as you structure everything appropriately for shrinking. Well, I hope you enjoyed that.